Hello everybody and welcome to this demonstration of Talend. Today we're going to see how Talend Data Fabric can help you assess and fix data quality problems focusing on the retail industry. So this is our scenario. Lambda Retail is a food retailer. And Lambda Retail is currently experiencing problems while replenishing its stores, especially when it comes to direct ordering to manufacturers. So store replenishment is based on sales data and it's enriched with product data. So as you can see here, the goal is to take data from all the operational system, gather raw data on a data lake or on a cloud. Let's keep in mind that Talend is totally source agnostic. And we're going to process and transform and merge this data to obtain clean data on which Lambda Retail is going to be able to run replenishment forecast models. To deliver good data on which replenishment forecasts can be run, Lambda Retail has to face a few challenges regarding data quality. First, some items are missing EANs. Some articles have wrong pack count, wrong numbers of item per pack. There is a lot of non-standardized sizes for products in the product sheet. Coming from the master data management. So that's big problems because, size is important when you talk about logistics. There are a lot of wrong product manufacturer names. They're not standardized. And a lot of manufacturer product codes are missing as well. And they realized they had an incomplete sales history for some stores and some weak signals, wrong signals as well. In their sales history. So that is what we're going to do today with Talend. We're going to fix all those problems. Our demo, we're assuming raw data has been loaded from legacy systems onto a data lake. The first thing will be to set up data quality rules. What do we want to be respected in the data sets to say the data has a good quality. So we're going to set up the rules first. And this is usually the work of a data quality user, but it can be whatever functional user. So in this case, we're going to set up how we want dimensions to be expressed, what's the EN format. We're going to give lists of official manufacturers and how we want items to be coded depending on manufacturers. Then we're going to see how Talend makes it easy to discover and profile data. So we can give this functionality to data quality user, to analysts, or even to data scientists. So we're going to check out data quality scores for the data sets. We're going to profile columns for the product to check out what data is wrong here. And then we're going to explore time series to understand if there are some wrong data there that can mess up with prediction. Finally, once we have assessed the quality and the problems, we're going to clean and standardize all the data in order. So we're going to filter data to clean wrong data. And finally, we're going to be able to filter, deliver, and first enrich the data. So to have clean data. So this is the place where we're going to merge product data with sales data in order to deliver clean data. Then we're going to see how we can also share this data through APIs and also very important, we'll show how we can apply all this correction process and how we can apply and industrialize this process to the sources. So we fix the problems early on in the data flow. And finally, we're going to see that we can create a data quality board in order to check quality indicators and how the team is working and how those quality indicators are progressing. Let's go now. So let's start with the first step, which is setting up data quality rules that we want our data to match. So this has two purposes. Of course, detecting errors, but also being able to calculate a data quality score. Within the Talend cloud platform, as you can see, I'm logged everybody has to log, and everybody has roles. In my case, I'm a super user, so I can do everything. And on that screen, I have a capability to define quality rules for columns of my datasets. So if I take a simple one, for example, here, I have a set of values that the column manufacturer can accept. So this is basically a dictionary of allowed values for manufacturers. And this can be, of course, synchronized with any master data management or third-party ERPs that would list your manufacturer. Okay, and you can also import it from here or edit it directly manually. So maximum list size, I think, is 10 megabytes. So it's pretty large. You can put some values in there. Okay, I'm going to go back there. Another type of rule you can put is, for example, I'm going to inspect what I expect in terms of codification for my EAN codes. And this is a pretty simple one. I want just 13 digits. Okay, so this is another rule, and we'll see how we apply this on the data. Finally, you can put more complex rules, as this one here. You know, this is a more complex regular expressions in order to specify how dimensions should be specified. So each time you're working on this kind of data quality rules, you can save as a draft and then publish it. So you have two statuses. So Talend also allows to go for multi-column, more complex data quality rules that your data set have to respect. So for example, if I take this rule says that if a manufacturer is given into a product sheet or into any kind of data set, then you should have a code for the item, a manufacturer code. So you can't have just a manufacturer with no code. So this is a first rule. And of course, you can go for more complex rules, such as this one. So this one is a little bit more complex, and it says if the manufacturer is one of these companies, then the code should respect this regex, which is 8 digits. Okay, so this is just a sample. Of course, those DQ rules can be imported from any third-party system. But the idea here is to get complex rules that match multiple columns. So this is fairly easy to build through this interface. So it's dedicated more to analysts. You don't have to be an ETL engineer to set up such a rule. Now we're going to see how we can use those to discover profile data and assess quality scores and find where the problems are. So Talend provides an interactive and collaborative space called the inventory, which allows all the users to share and see different data sets and search and browse for data sets. So for example, in my case, the replenishment teams told me go and check the product data. So I can, for example, search for my retail data sets. The guys told me that loaded the data, told me I added a tag which was saying to fix. So for example, I can do an additional search here and I can find immediately my data set here. I can see who is the owner, I can see when it was created, when it was updated, and I have an immediate view of the quality score, which is called the Talend Trust Score. And also here I have a color code. Red means number of value which are not correct, black is missing value, and green being all valid values. So I'm going to drill into this data set, and I have here an overview, an explanation of a trust score, of a quality score based on 5 pillars. So I had read a document of the Washington University, which was saying that the best practices would be to have 12 dimensions, but that's, that's a lot, and we regrouped some dimensions into those 5. So the main ones being the validity of the data. Is my data correct compared to the quality rules I've set up, EAN code, dimensions format? Is it complete? Is there some data missing? And then I have notions of popularity and usage of this data set on the platform, and if it's well tagged. So you can see here you have descriptions, you have a lot of different metadata, custom attributes that you can add, as well as tags. So this discoverability means how well is it documented? How well is this document documented? Is this data set documented? So regarding data quality, I have here a number of invalid values, number of empty values, and number of valid values. And I can have the detail of this column per column. So there is something quite interesting here, is that on the top here, you have the technical column of a data set. So we're quite happy here because it's called manufacturer. But in some cases, when you work with SAP, the name of a technical column might be just a nightmare. So that's why Talend, thanks to the data quality rules we've set up, will try and see what is the name, what is the business name for this column. And for example, if we look at this column here, we see that the system has automatically discovered that it corresponds to the dictionary of manufacturers we've put together. So here I know this column is mostly my manufacturers, and I can see in red the ones that are not in the dictionary of input. So I have instance sites, of number of invalid manufacturers in this column. Talend also includes artificial intelligence. So this is a very simple example, but here the count, the number of articles per pack, here should be an integer. So the system has guessed this by himself. And he has detected some values, 37, have incorrect values here. And same for the dimensions, same for the article categories. So here you see in one site, the system, I can know what's the status for my important columns that I gave you earlier. And for example, here we can see EN codes are missing, which is quite a big problem because it's the barcode basically. So we have to investigate this. So if I want to profile more the types of errors, I can go into this interface here where I can access some profiling, some profiling on the column. So for example here, if I take, you know, this count, number of items per pack, there is an intelligent graph here which shows me the different values. But what I want to check here is more the patterns. Ooh, and I can see here there are some counts with some letters. So with some letters, yeah. So that's definitively not correct. Yeah. So as you remember, we had to check if the manufacturer was also correct. So what is interesting here is that I can go here and select only the invalid values, and I can see here, you see the chart has changed, and I can see, for example, there is a problem with this Walmart with Frito-Lay. Oh, you see you have two writings for Frito-Lay here. So I can have a list here of the main manufacturers that are not good. So this is how we can really profile data and understand what's wrong. Same for the dimensions. And this is also here that I am going to be able to fix things. Profile the data, we now understand what's our problem with manufacturers, we understand what's the problem with count and dimensions, as we were wanting to understand. The next step is to fix all that, to clean and standardize. So Talend offers multiple possibilities to clean and standardize data. What I'm going to show here is how a data quality user or somebody that's not a data engineer can fix things quite easily. So you remember that we had these screens that helped us profile the data. For example, we were profiling this count column with some invalid values here because there are some characters in there. So if I want to clean that very simply, I can search for a function here which removes non-numeric characters. So for example, I click here and I can have a preview of what's going to happen just by staying here. If I submit, it will apply the change. So what I can see here is that it has fixed a lot of problems, but I still have trailing characters here, which are white spaces for a certain amount of value, which explains I still have 37 invalid values. So I'm going to remove this thanks to this function. Remove trailing and leading characters. I'm going to say I want to wipe out white spaces, and I'm going to submit that again. And there we go. We don't have any more invalid values. So that's quite interesting, and you can profile here that the data is good. Now what is interesting here is that all the changes I've made to this data set are saved step by step, and I can travel in it in order to build a cleaning recipe. And that's very important because this cleaning recipe, what I'm currently building, I'm going to be able to apply it on the sources but also on the legacy, I'm going to be able to keep this recipe, make it live, change it, and reapply it. So it's quite a powerful tool that we're using here. As a second example, you see here we had retail manufacturers, which is quite important when it comes into ordering. I can have a chart here of a value, and I can focus, you remember, on invalid values. So in some cases, this is going to be easy to fix. In some of us, not. So in this case, for example, if I see this error here, Nestlé Purina Pet Care Company, I'm going to be able to double click here and then come back and see that there is the correct name here. And what I'm going to say is that I want to change this value, and I want to apply this change to all identical value. And you see here, I have less invalid value now that Nestlé has been changed. But in some of the cases, it's a bit more complex because you have to have some business knowledge if you want to change and put a good manufacturer. It's not just a problem of mistyping it. And this is what we're going to see next. So Talend provides a stewardship console which lets business specialists bring value into the quality resolution of data. So you organize cleaning campaigns. There are different types of cleaning campaigns, like merging to detect duplicates, grouping, and what we're going to do here is resolution. The system has detected a number of lines in my product reference sheet that are not compliant with the DQ rules I've set up on manufacturers. There are different types of errors. Here, the manufacturer is not good. Here, there is a manufacturer, but there is no manufacturer item code. You remember this was one of the rules we've set up. Problems such as this code here, which is not correct for Walmart manufacturer because we've said that it should be 8 digits and it's not 8 digits here. So I have to fix that. And by the way, if you click on this button here, you can see which rules, which data quality rules it breaks. So this is the rule we've set up a few minutes ago. So each time you click here, you have the rules that are broken. So you have information on what is wrong. So all this fixing can be assigned to different stewards. Of course, this is a lot of tasks for a single man, so you can handle your teams, and you can bring corrections with your knowledge. So, for example, you can check that the Heinz gravy mushroom home style can be that the code, manufacturer code of this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And once this code is okay, you can just log this and we'll validate massively all the changes we've made. And this can get into a workflow of people who can double check on you. Okay, so I can change as well the name of the manufacturer until all this is good. So I don't have to do it all at once, but validate little by little to have clean data. Now that we have cleaned and standardized the data, we want to merge the data, filter it, enrich it, and deliver it. And this is going to be done with one tool, which is quite simple, which is aiming towards self-service. I've still set up, this is the work of a data engineer, but honestly it can be made with other profiles which are not IT guys. But before showing the pipeline designer, I would like to check the quality of my sales data very quickly. Oh, I can see there is a very good quality score, so I can trust this data. The sales seems to be good. Let me check the columns. Yeah, quantity is always there, it's integer. Loyalty ID is good. All the data has a EN code. The EAN column is good. So yeah, it's pretty good. However, I might want to profile this data, so you can do this as we did before, but there is another way which is quite interesting, is that I can share this data set one click and get a URL for this data set. The idea of this is that I can share this URL, this address, to business users who have a Tableau or Power BI, and they're going to be able to integrate this data set one click and check with their usual tool if the data is good or not. Yeah, so I've opened my Tableau, which is a free version desktop, so and in French, furthermore. I apologize for that. But you can see here, you can add an OData link that you can paste here and get your data set instantly into Tableau. So that's a very quick and easy way. So I've already made a dashboard to check on my sales. Each color is a store. And you can see here the first thing I have is I have wrong data. I have some data for 2020. I just want to focus on 2021 to do my prediction. And furthermore, I can see I have some stores here, number 4 and number 5, who have partial data. So I want to remove this most probably from my data set before I do my predictions, because this is going to bring some noise. Okay, so as a functional guy, as an analyst, I will tell, now you have to remove this data. So we remove 2020 and we remove store 4 and 5. Yeah, so therefore I've built a pipeline in the famous pipeline designer I was talking about. So it's a very simple way to build a data journey from the sales, enriching the sales data with the cleaned product data. So we can have a name, so we can have a manufacturer and the manufacturer code. So you can see data before, data after. So it's very easy to understand how you work on data here. We are removing store 4 and 5s, and we're removing as well the data that's not from 2020. So you see, it's very easy. It's very simple to build a pipeline, and then we're writing this in a target, which is going to be used in the models to do the predictions. So now that we have created clean data, there are other options. So we can share this data through API. We've seen it, but you have to know that Talend has also a full API designer, which lets you create the contract of the API and the services behind. And all we have done, like the cleaning recipe, like the stewardship actions, can be applied as well to the sources through our ETL. Finally, all what you have seen, all the platform is addressable through APIs, so you can get all indicators into a DQ dashboard if you need to follow the quality of one or 2 or how many data sets you want, but during time. When it's not one shot, usually we create a DQ board. Our services in Talend can help you build that. Or you can build it yourself and look at it in your favorite BI tool. Yeah, so this is a sample data quality dashboard that my boss built for a customer. I've anonymized it. And this is the dashboard I've created, which is a bit more simple, but it shows the evolution of a Talend trust score through all the activities we've made, fixing the data and the stewardship campaign. So yeah, you can follow the Talend trust score of your data sets during time. So to finish, a few key takeaways. We've seen that we could do self-service data quality, implementing rules, data quality rules, cleaning. Even if I'm not a Java engineer or ETL engineer, I have a tool that's fairly easy to use. And this platform helps team collaboration. So data quality users, analysts, stewards, business owners, and ETL engineer can all work together to build a very nice data quality supply chain, if I may say. All those processes can be industrialized. We have references upon request that do so on huge volumes of data. And something important, we've not talked too much about it, but that's the main Talend added value, is that you can run all this on more than 1,000 or 2,000 sources, because we have a lot of connectors to all sorts of cloud or non-cloud legacy systems. That makes it easy to connect to your sources. Thank you very much. I can send you demo screenshots, or I can rerun the demo for you on demand. I'm Jean-François Monteil, jmonteil@talend.com. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon, hopefully.